The Giants training camp practice number 1 is officially in the books. So let's get you guys a recap with our New York Post NFL reporter, Ryan Dunleavy, who was out at Quest Diagnostics Training Center for practice. Ryan, what's up, man? You load up on the suntan lotion out there?
No, we were getting rained on, Brandon. That's not training camp.
All right. One piece of news that kind of has flooded everyone's timeline, talking about the Giants in practice today. Daniel Jones was on the field. He was full go. We've already seen some social media videos. People already trying to put narratives out. So in your eyes, how'd he look and how'd the knee look?
Two different questions. Physically, I thought he looked good. He scrambled when the pocket broke down. He ran a couple times up the middle. Across the line of scrimmage. So he looked like Daniel Jones looks in practice, physically. Performance-wise, he was rusty. I had him at 8 of 13. Remember, these are his first 11-on-11 drills since tearing his ACL. He didn't do any 11-on-11s in the spring, only 7-on-7s. So first time he had Dexter Lawrence barreling down in his face. And, he had some overthrows. Malik Nabers didn't help him with the drop. But really what was notable was I don't think the Giants offense, first-team offense, had a completion more than 5 or 6 yards. They really couldn't push the ball down the field today in the first practice. All of his stuff was short to the running backs or Wan'Dale Robinson. That's obviously got to change, and I'm sure it will as the offense gets in its groove.
Well, I was going to get your overall thoughts on the offense and Malik Nabers, and to add to that, do you think that was by design? They didn't want to push the ball down the field too much. First day back for training camp, didn't want guys running too much.
No, I don't. I think some of it's by design. Yeah, of course you have some short passes. I think they'll use the short pass as an extension of the running game this year without Saquon Barkley. But no, they definitely wanted to push it down the field at some points, and there were just guys covered. Malik Nabers had a drop, which I think is going to be an unusual thing. I don't think he's going to drop the ball very often, but he had a drop on a well-placed throw down the field by Daniel. The most interesting thing about Nabers' first day was he was lined up all over the place. He took an end around, and he was the target on a play on an incompletion, but he was lined up in the backfield, split out almost like a fullback, and Jones overthrew him in the flat. So Daboll said they'd use him all over the place, and I don't think that just means X, Y, Z receiver. I think that means literally all over the place.
He's going to have to load up on his electrolytes because it sounds like he was all over the place, which is great. The Giants' offense needs some sort of explosion. If you can get him in some sort of mismatch, I'm all for it. Now we got to go to some depressing breaking news. And I don't want to necessarily call it depressing just now. Jermaine Eluemenor went down during practice with an injury. From where you were sitting or standing, what'd you see? And what are the Giants saying about the injury?
It looked like a left side injury. The Giants haven't given us any kind of update yet. Looked like a left side injury. You see video that's going around on Twitter. Looked like maybe ribs, oblique area, something like that. He was down on a knee for a while. Then he was off to the sideline on his back. Then he was left the field with head trainer Ronnie Barnes. So didn't come back to practice. Not good. And it's a tough break for the Giants, because if I asked you the starting offensive line 3 days ago, I would have told you Evan Neal and Jermaine Eluemenor, and now both are on the sideline. And 1 day into practice, the Giants already have 2 guys they didn't anticipate starting in the starting offensive line, after the entire focus of the offseason was to get 5 starters in place and fix a group that allowed 85 sacks last season. And already after 1 practice, the offensive line is in flux, at least until Eluemenor comes back, depending on the severity of it.
If you're a Giants fan, you're sitting there thinking, why can't we have nice things? So hopefully he gets back ASAP, because like you said, that offensive line has been the topic of discussion for forever. Takeaways from day one. Who else stood out? Is there anything that you saw that was kind of different from the spring?
Yeah, I'll give you a couple. Different from the spring. Isaiah Simmons was lined up at cornerback, and there's been talk that he was going to be a safety. I guess safety corner. There's not a slot corner. There's not a whole lot of difference. But in individual drills, he was with the corners, not the safeties, which I thought was interesting. He's played some slot before for Arizona. But this is a way the Giants are going to try to tap into his first-round pick potential that he really hasn't tapped into during his NFL career, and he seems comfortable with it. Peter Body from our staff talked to him afterwards, and Simmons totally on board with it. So the Giants are going to try something a little new to capitalize on his athleticism. And then the same as OTAs, Dane Belton is still the first-team safety next to Jason Pinnock and Xavier McKinney's old spot, not second-round pick Tyler Nubin. I think that's going to be probably the most interesting training camp position battle we see.
Dane Belton, 4 interceptions past 2 seasons, and he wasn't even a full-time starter. The kid makes plays when he gets in there on the game. We got more coming up for you guys day 2 tomorrow, so make sure you lock in to New York Post Sports for all your Giants coverage. Ryan Dunleavy, man, thanks for hopping on with us.
Thanks, Brandon.